Hickok 45 here. Look what I have. A couple of snakes, maybe pythons. Which one? The question for you is, which one's the real python? Let me hear you guess now before I shoot. What do you think? Quick, comment, quick. All right, let's see if they both shoot. Oh yeah. Well, they both seem to work. Did I fire 12 or did I fire 13? I didn't count them actually, so we'll just make sure we're safe. Oh yeah, had my ears in tight. That's why I'm hollering at you. Firing 2 revolvers at one time. One of them being the real python and one being the wannabe. Oh, I don't know, does that mean? Yeah, so let us empty them for sure and take a look. What do you think? Obviously we got new grips on this one. New grips on this one. I'll close them up. See how long it takes you. What do you think? You might have seen the Instagram posting on this and already know, of course. They look very similar, don't they? I mean, forget the grips. Yeah, if I cover the grips, yeah, not a lot of telltale signs. Yeah, so one of them is the new 2020 Python Blue. Okay, 2020 Python's been out for a long time. How long? Oh, 2020, I bet since around 2020. So not a new entity, right? We've had several of them here, but they're all stainless. In fact, my little 3-inch, which you've probably seen, right? Better have. It's a stainless 2020 Python. 2020 stands for the year now, new folks or new shooters and everything. And yep, one of these is the 2020 Python. In fact, it is, we record, it has just pretty much come out. I think it was introduced at SHOT Show 2024 this year. And so it's not been out there long, and they're kind of hard to find right now. Oh, I just gave it away, didn't I? Held it. You knew. I can tell from the Instagram posting, a lot of people got it from a couple of clues, you know, pretty easily. The sights and some things, recognize the grips maybe that comes on them. Maybe the red ramp sight, I don't know. Just depends. Some of the older ones had the red ramp too, didn't they? I don't know. Mine doesn't. Wish it did. So yeah, it is the 6-inch 2020 blued Python that we're about today, as you probably guessed from the top. Air support too. And by now, you know, because I just told you, right? Now, the big question is, well, I don't know, what is the big question? What is the difference? Of course, we got the standard differences on the 2020 Python, right? Which you probably know by now. Most of you've seen videos, you may own some of them. You got a little thicker top strap here. It's been beefed up. You got a kind of a crown barrel. You got a front sight that's easier to replace. Different rear sight, which sometimes needs to be replaced. You've got a different action internally, supposedly less troublesome and more likely to maintain the timing. And what I've noticed and like about it so much is it breaks a little bit farther forward. Okay, with my large hands, it's nice. It breaks just a little bit farther forward, and a little bit makes a big difference there. Just like a little length on a stock or something, a little bit makes a big difference. So that is one big difference right there. You know, some little things, serration maybe of the cylinder release, you know, there, the hammer serration's a little different in, and then we pick all the little things that are different, maybe the etching. And of course, the most important thing that we really have missed over the years on the original Pythons is that QR code. You know, that really is why people are buying the new Pythons, primarily because they got a QR code, and you just can't get those on the old Pythons. You know, I've tried to get people who own the, you know, collector's level Pythons, you know, made in whatever 1960 or 50, to stamp a QR code on them for me, and they won't do it, you know, and so I don't buy them. But anyway, that was a joke, right? We don't necessarily like that QR code. It's not quite as conspicuous maybe on the blue, but I don't know. My thing on that is I don't like the QR code, but again, the new Colts, yeah, they're nice guns. You know, if you've had trouble with one, you know, let us know. We had trouble with the very first one, but it was kind of a minor thing. Apparently they tweaked that, and they've got that fixed. I don't hear much about that being a problem with this screw in the mechanism. But, you know, you don't have the key lock, you don't have a sleeve barrel, you don't have some of the things we don't like about Smith. And I'm a Smith guy pretty much. Guess I'm a Colt guy. Guess I'm a Ruger guy. Guess I'm an everything guy, right? But yeah, so it really doesn't seem to be that much. It is not that much different from the original Python. And you can go down the line, the Cobras, the King Cobras, and those, and you still have a revolver when you look at it and fondle it and everything. Well, this could be a firearm made in 1960. You know, there's nothing that just jumps out at you like a sleeve barrel or some funky key lock hole and that kind of thing. So anyway, that is that. And before I go too much further, I got another revolver right here in my Alabama holster, which I really like. Should I pull that and shoot it? No, they make great little belt holsters and pocket holsters and purse holsters and everything. Concealment, Codex concealment holsters for the most part, right? And phone holsters, whatever, but they're a great company, Alabama Holster. Check them out, and I'm sure you'll like them too. I'm confident you will. I've used them for a long time, so appreciate their support. And I'm ready to shoot some more. How about you? Now, I got a bunch of screwdrivers out here. What does that foretell? Am I expecting problems? Well, I tell you what. Well, I guess I have shot it, haven't I? I haven't had this very long from buds, and I thought, well, you know what? That sight doesn't look right to me. Well, I mean, it's right. It's just elevated, and I have to question, wow, does it need to be that high? Maybe so. You know, every revolver I own is a little different. I think I've got this one shooting pretty much on. You see, it's not as high. My this is 1981 Colt. I got it up a little bit, right? So maybe it does need to be right there. I don't know. Maybe they sighted it in at the Colt factory, and that's where it needs to be with some ammo they were using at least. But I've not messed with it. I've not fired it. The only shots that I have fired are the ones you have seen today. 6 into that barrel down there. I guess I hit it most of them. So I thought, well, we'll just not shoot it till the video, and we'll see how it does. And I'll, if I need to adjust the sights, I will. I'm not going to try to win any marksmanship contests. And if I have trouble with it on a windage or something, so be it on this video. But you know, it's just not been fired until I fired those 6. So why don't we start getting an idea? Let's put some Magnums in, 158 grain Magnums, and I'll see if those sights are elevated too much or not. Okay, I'll start getting an idea. I did fire 38 specials to begin with. I can tell I got a little dirty ring in there. Okay, so here we go. The first real shots, Magnum shots with this thing. I'll just try to hold right in the middle of that stop sign right there and see what I get. This is kind of what I do when I'm first shots on a firearm, just to see if they're like way off or something. It might print a little high. I hope it does. Okay, I'm doing a poor job. The trigger is a little, let me shoot that one right there. The trigger is a little stiff compared with Smith's. Okay. Okay, that's better. I'm holding right in the middle. Okay. Doesn't seem too bad. They might be a little high. So if I lower them just a little bit, okay, that will bring it a little bit closer in line. So I'm just going to turn it a little bit. This is, again, this is kind of the way I do it. Just to get it in the ballpark and, see where they are. I don't notice anything horrible about the windage. Thing about these, I've mentioned it before, maybe, I don't know, recently, some video. The Smith & Wesson, to me, is famous for having really nice single action triggers. And if you have many of them, you know what I mean. And right out of the box quite often, and I guess the new ones too, just really sweet single action triggers, even though they're double action revolvers. Now these, and some of the Colts maybe like that too, but I've noticed the Pythons, especially the newer Pythons, and my Anaconda, they have a stiffer trigger. I'm not sure what the weight would be. It doesn't matter to me what the weight is. I know what it feels like. It's okay. I don't have any inclination to get it to a gunsmith to make it like my Smith & Wesson revolvers. I don't think. It's it just, if I was going to do maybe a lot of target matches or something and competing for thousands of dollars, maybe I would. But it is a little stiffer, and it does kind of throw me off a little bit. It was probably a Sunday video where I talked about that. All right, I'll try that other plate over here that ain't been shot yet. Try to hold in the middle of it. All right, I don't know. I can't tell yet. Let me try that tombstone. Okay. I think it still prints too high for me. I'm gonna try the gong. Yeah, I was holding down low, 6 o'clock. Yeah, I think I was actually holding off of it that time. I'm gonna screw it down just a little more. We're good to go as far as enjoying shooting it, but there we go. Wow, did I shoot all this? Okay. So I'll reload it. Yeah, the finish is, of course, a big question. I'm the one who has said for years, it'd be great if Colt would bring back the Python, but yeah, it would take too much hand labor. They would never do that. I just can't imagine them doing it. I know I've said it probably in videos in the early days that it would probably have to be priced at like $3,000 or $4,000 to put the kind of work that the Python, you know, had in it. The original Pythons and the craftsmanship and the polishing and all of that, and gunsmithing, master gunsmiths putting those together. Well, they changed the action. You know, that's one of the reasons. It apparently doesn't take as much handwork, just the nature of it, and I can't really speak to what exactly it is. I've not had it apart, but the action is supposed to be simpler, but yet it's still glassy smooth. I'm really impressed with that. And so I guess that cut out a lot of the labor. There's just the technology or the innovation in figuring that out. It's got a really nice action, I think. And then as far as the finish, you know, I've read things about how many 100 hours or whatever it took per gun, or 30 or 40 hours of just polishing to get that finish on the old Pythons. Well, some of you may have a different opinion on it, but this one ain't bad, you know? Put my thumb over that QR code. I could wipe it down. I mean, when you look at the finish, I mean, what do y'all think? Am I just trying to be nice to Colt? I don't know. Again, we're not beholden to any gun company. Y'all know that by now, surely. That's what's great about getting guns borrowed from buds. You know, buds doesn't care what we think about them. They're glad that we're honest about it. That's why they support us. So, I don't know. What do you think? This is a little, I don't know. Of course, this one's 40 years old, the one on the bottom. I don't know if that makes much difference, but and of course, a purist, a Colt collector, whatever, you're gonna, you know, you would complain about the etchings on the barrel and not being exactly like the old ones or something, you know. But duh, it's a new one. We know that. So, I don't know. All in all, I'm still pretty impressed with what Colt's doing with these. Yep, I have to commend them, even though you might put them at like 90% of the others, the old ones, you know, and me too. But I'm just glad they're making them, because they're just nice firearms. They're beautiful. The rib barrel, the underlug, just a great gun. Yeah, just kind of a, oh, I don't know, a sexier L frame, you know. Although a lot of people would rather have the L frame, and I might if I'm going to compete with it in a shooting match or something, because I love the L frame Smiths. But these are just beautiful guns. Can I shoot again? Okay. So what do y'all think? You know. I mean, it's hard to, I kind of accept these for what they are. I guess what I'm saying, I've kind of taken that mental leap where I'm not upset that there's any difference, you know. I mean, nobody seems to want to make a classic or can afford to make one that's exactly like the old days. You know, Smith certainly can't seem to do it. But I don't know, I kind of think Colt came closer than Smith on that, you know, on a firearm that's hard to make. So I give him credit for that, maybe too much. All right, Cowboy, I'm gonna check the sights again. check the elevation. Yeah. I like that better. It's shooting pretty much right where I hold. Let me see over there on that red plate on the left. Of course, I got to hit it first, but I'm going to hold right on it. I don't know if I... I think I hit it. Did I? I think I skipped one here. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Fumbled the hammer. Colt goes clockwise. Here I was about to set it up like a Smith. Okay. It might have gone low. So it's hitting right where I hold it, so I got to quit holding 6 o'clock. Okay. And if it were mine, I you know, would spend a lot of time with that. But it definitely was printing a little bit higher. So what else about it? These grips, of course, came on it. Now these I just picked up. I talked about that in the recent Sunday shoot around, how I found these at a gun show in Murfreesboro and was happy to get those for this gun and the Anaconda. They seem a little big for this one. I don't know if I'll leave those on there, but they look really good and they feel good on the Anaconda for sure. But yeah, anyway, I love them so much. I got 2 grips, 2 sets of them, and they fill my hand, so great. Okay, so this is what comes on it, and I think I have figured it out. Some people are confused. You see different stories. In terms of grips, by the way, okay, think about it. You got old Anacondas, you got old Pythons. You got new Anacondas, new Pythons, okay? Correct me if I get this wrong, but I'm 100% sure I'm right, 99%. Grips. If any grip that fits the new Python will fit the old Python, and it'll also fit the new Anaconda. Okay, so the odd man out in that, you got 4 different guns we're talking about, old and new, Anaconda, Python. The odd man out there is the old Anaconda. So you can have this grip, any of these grips you see on the table here on these guns will fit a new Python or an old Python, and they'll also fit an Anaconda, a new Anaconda. Okay, so there you go. Remember that. There'll be a quiz over that. What should we shoot? I've been shooting some Steinel here, Sig Sauer ammo of all things, the famous revolver maker Sig Sauer. Okay. Let's shoot these. As I recall, these were kind of hot. And I'm enjoying shooting. I'll not take too long here. I'm trying to think of anything else that you'd want to know about it. Our impressions of it. John and I both are fairly impressed with what they've done. You know, the finish is pretty good. Okay, and you know, they just seem to be you know, pretty nice revolvers. And only enough of you have them that you know, we're not telling you anything. You know somebody that has one, or you have one, so share what you think about yours. And you know what, I've got something here that will explode a little bit. Kitty litter container. A little bit. And there's a, what is that, a 2 liter that I just missed. Yeah, and we got to smoke some pot with it, or it's not a true python, right? It's not a true snake. I think we're empty. Oh, one thing I was going to tell you that reminds me, one of my impressions is, let me ease back over here to the shooting table. My impression, I think John's impression, I don't know. I spent some time clicking both of them. And my impression of at least these 2 guns is in double action, it's got a pretty nice pull. Now the other one's light, but it's got a pretty nice smooth action. I prefer the double action on the new one over mine. Mine's okay, but it stacks a little bit or something. It's different, and plus it breaks further rearward. So I prefer the double action pull on the new Python, actually, and that's not night and day or anything. But now when it comes to, this has got empties in it, when it comes to single action, And I'm trying to get a careful shot. I think I prefer my 1981 version. Yeah, it's got a lighter break. Got a nicer break for target shooting. Okay, does that tell you anything? Do I ever tell you anything worthwhile? Nope. So, yeah, so the new Python, I'll shoot it one more time and I'm gonna make you leave. Okay? I shoot Magnums. So let's finish up with Magnums. Yeah, so I don't know, they all feel the same. The grips make them feel different when you shoot them, of course, but they're both nice. So the new Python, these sell right about the same, I think, as the others, $1,500–$1,600, depending on where you get it, when you find it, and when they're out there. Right now, it's like any firearm almost, especially a Colt, a new Colt release or something. Not many of them available, and at least not enough. And the demand exceeds supply quite often, and so people do find them, put them on Gunbroker or whatever, or even gun shops maybe charging what the market will bear sometimes, and they so it could be anywhere between 15 and 2,000 or something right now. Just depends as we record. Who knows? But generally speaking, these won't. I don't think they're going to sell for much more or any more than the stainless models. I don't know. A Fluey Magnum. How did I miss? Same way I did then. Okay, that was a joke. You didn't see me put 3 blanks in, did you? Yeah, that was just a joke. Okay, I put in 3 blanks. I knew you wouldn't notice. Well, another illustration. It's easy to miss when you are shooting. It really is. I'll blame it on the trigger. I just said that single action trigger is not as good as I should have fired double action. So the new Python is pretty nice, and I don't think many people would have a problem with it. Now, unless you have one of the Pythons that you've had problems with. I mean, there are people who occasionally still, I think, have one that is something about the action or something, so I don't know. Let me know. I put the money out on this one not all that long ago, and actually when I first got it seemed to have a little hitch in the action. If you remember, I think I brought out Sunday shoot around that week, and there's something about the action seemed to have a little bit of a, I don't know, a hitch in it or something. Let down. That seems to be gone. So I don't know if there is a little bit of a break-in or not. I think I felt that in this one once. I don't know. Nice action. Maybe they all just need to be shot, 50 times or something. But so for whatever it's worth, whatever criticisms you might have, where it's not a perfect Colt, the QR code or whatever it is, I acknowledge that, and everything, I understand it. But I personally, again, I'm just glad Colt brought these back out. Isn't it nice? Because they are nice revolvers, even if we don't, or some people don't think they come close enough to the originals, it's really nice. And one thing I did forget to say, speaking of negatives, is the rear sight. All of the, let's see, I haven't replaced this one either. That is one of the weaknesses on these new ones, the 2020s generally. Both of these, there's just a little play there that it seems very difficult or impossible to totally tighten up. And I've heard that people have actually had problems with them coming loose a lot and all that sort of thing. And that's why there's a cottage industry, aftermarket sights. Wilson Combat, for example, I have put the Wilson Combat sight on my Anaconda, and I actually bought another one that I might put on this. So, it's just such a nice revolver, and that is maybe one of the weaknesses. It's not going to matter to a lot of people, but it might, to you, don't know. So, but anyway, at least there's a better sight available. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. Let me hold them both up. They're both clear, and yeah. All right. Colt Python. Yesterday and today. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, and also while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.